Yo, what is up guys? It is esports content entertainment coming at you guys with another video here today. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Fnatic. So I already told you guys I was going to be doing a dedicated video on Fnatic. And there has been so many problems and issues for Fnatic for all of these many years. But I thought that there would be no better time to do it, than before the LEC 2023 spring split. And also during the time period in which where they announced, their roster for the LEC 2023 spring split, as well as their newest head coach as well. They will be adding in, a new top laner and a new support. They will be replacing Wonder with Oscurin, and they will be replacing Rux with Advian. So let's start from 2021 and then go forward into 2022. Then we will talk about the most recent LEC 2023 winter split. So I'm just going to get this out of the way right now at the beginning of the video. Fnatic actually picked up Wonder during the ending of the 2021 offseason, where, G2 didn't go to the World Championship. It was Fnatic that actually stopped G2 from going to the 2021 League of Legends World Championship and then ending their, yearly streak of going to Worlds, actually. Then they got Wonder, which I thought was not really good, honestly, because Wonder has not been that kind of carry player in a very, very long time. People have been kind of very mad at Fnatic for getting rid of Wonder. I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys. I don't actually disagree with them about that. Wonder has not been that good. I was actually not even happy when they picked up Wonder to begin with, because in 2021 for G2 Esports, Wonder looked completely awful, and that was with the roster with Reckless, actually. And then in 2022, when he was playing with Upset, Hylissang, and Humanoid and Razork, he still looked bad. I know people kept saying, oh, he was really stable and all this other nonsense. It's like, no, he wasn't. He was not stable. Actually, he only played a few carry games here and there, and most of the time, yeah, he was on Gragas duty, but he didn't even look good on Gragas either. Wonder has not been the player that a lot of people think about in their head when you think of Wonder. I'm not saying that he can't get back to that form. I'm not saying that, but he's not been that kind of a player. So when they even, brought in Wonder for this past LEC 2023 winter split, well, you got the results that you deserve. Wonder played extremely horrible throughout this past, winter split for the LEC for 2023. He only had that one carry game, which was on Gwen, and even that game he threw. Wonder is a shell of what he once was. Now, I will make sure I say this once again. Do I think that he can't get back to his 2019 G2 form or the years before when he was obviously one of the best top laners in the LEC? No, I definitely think he has it in him to be that good once again, but he just hasn't shown that, since 2021. Guys, it's been literally 2 years plus, and he's not been good. At Worlds, he's ran it down. Last year at Worlds, that was abysmal from him, actually. So, yeah, them getting rid of Wonder, I personally think is actually going to be a good thing for them. Now, let's go over the whole Upset situation, right? So, Upset was Fnatic's best player. Let's just be completely honest here. Upset was Fnatic's best player. So, when Reckless left Fnatic to go play in G2 Esports in 2021, Fnatic ended up actually getting Fnatic actually ended up getting, Upset, right? And the narrative literally went like this. Well, we lost Reckless. We won't be going to Worlds anymore. We won't be challenging for titles anymore. All yada yada blah 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 bullshit. Because people don't like Upset for whatever reason. Upset's been like one of the best ADCs in Europe. I mean, ever since he started on like Schalke No Fear. Like, even if you saw this guy in the challenger scene back when he was on like Giants Gaming with Jizuke of all people, he was still popping off. Comes to the LEC, constantly pops off. I don't think he's really even had like a bad year, actually, since he's been in the LEC, right? So, Upset joins Fnatic, and people think it's just doom and gloom. Both years, Fnatic qualified for Worlds. They end up beating G2, stopping their world streak, to go to Worlds. They make a finals with that Blippo Atom roster, actually. You know, yeah, they lose in the finals, but, you know, they actually made a finals. People said they wouldn't even make a finals without Reckless. People said they wouldn't get to Worlds without Reckless. All those narratives just completely dispelled, right? Then in 2022, he's literally by far and away is their best player, to a point where they have to actually draft for him in order for them to actually win games, because you could not win through Razork and Humanoid. I really don't understand why Fnatic keeps Humanoid and Razork, okay? I don't understand it. I'll get to them in just a moment. So, Upset, clearly, by far and away their best player, had an amazing year in 2022. He actually had a great year in 2021 as well. You know, goes to Worlds. He actually beat Guma UC in lane. Name a Western ADC was able to do that. Berserker couldn't. Upset actually was able to beat Guma UC in lane. And, you know, come this split, basically the drama went like this. Upset did not believe in the Fnatic roster that we all previously saw with Wonder, Razork, Humanoid, Reckless, and Rux, actually, right? So he didn't want to play with that roster. He thought it was just, you know, doomed. It wasn't going to do anything, and obviously he was right. And then now he will end up being on Team Vitality for the LEC 2023 spring split. And he wasn't wrong, actually. Upset did not want to play with Razork and Humanoid because obviously Razork and Humanoid have the mid-jungle synergy of two fucking apes. They cannot play well at all together, right? So they lost Upset, which is bad, right? They could have had Upset on their roster. All they had to do was just get rid of that garbage mid-jungle duo they have and they consider League of Legends players. That is by far and away the worst mid-jungle duo in the LEC. I'm not capping. If you think I'm capping, I know for sure you don't watch any of these games, okay? Then they bring back Reckless. Reckless of all people, right? So, I'll explain it to you right now. Reckless wasn't their first choice in the offseason. Well, this is what ended up happening. So, you guys remember Hylissang, who's played for Fnatic? So, yeah, Hylissang played very, very well in spring of last year. I admit that he played very well. Then in summer, he did one of his classic Hylissang splits where he looked like one of the worst supports, obviously. And yeah, you could kind of tell they were eventually going to get rid of him, because there'd be like one split where he would be like really hot, and one split he'd be like really cold, actually. And then, you know, they'd bring over Rux, right? So Hylissang got in late for the 2022 World Championship play-in stage, right? Because Fnatic had ended up getting like third, and they had to go to the play-in stage, right? To qualify for the group stage, right? So they traveled to Mexico where they had the play-in stage, and Hylissang left late, so he couldn't get there until the day 2, actually. So Fnatic chose to play Rux, actually. Rux looked good for 2 games, okay? It was the Worlds 2022 play-in stage games for Evil Geniuses when they had Kaori, and then they looked good against Chiefs, who are from Australia. Now let's keep this in mind. Evil Geniuses were pretty suspect, pretty much with Kaori, because that Al Danny situation I'm not going to get into right now. But they looked pretty whack with Kaori, all things considered, and then they faced they faced Chiefs, who were the Australian team, and, I mean, it's Australia. I mean, that's a free win in and of itself. Then, Rux plays with Upset, and then wins those 2 games. Then, Fnatic, in the offseason, go, let's just make this guy our starter. Hold up, whoa, what the fuck are you doing? This man got to be a starter when he won 2 Worlds Championship 2022 play-in stage games. Let me rephrase that again. This guy got to be a starter over Hylissang for winning 2 Worlds 2022 play-in stage games. That's so dumb and stupid. I can't even, fathom how you could make someone a starter with such little sample size. Yes, he played well in the small amount of sample size of games we had, but that was only in context because, 1, he played with Upset, who can make any support look good, and second of all, yeah, any support's gonna look better than what Hylissang provided when Hylissang's having a pretty off split. So to make that big of a decision that early on is just so bad, you know? Because if they actually believed in Rux as much as they say they did, why didn't they just start Rux in 2022 earlier in the year? when Hillsing was running it down. You want to know why? They didn't think that either. They just knew they knew Hillsing is just a much better player. And yeah, I have my criticisms of Hillsing. I'm not lying to you guys. Obviously, I'm not going to do that, but if you're going to go with the guy for a starter, you might need a few more games to actually know, hey, this guy is actually good enough to be my starter. So they early commit to Rux as their starter, and then this is what ended up happening. The ADCs that they wanted, like Karzi and Unforgiven and Upset, they don't want to play with him. I'm pretty sure it's not because Rux is a bad guy, but the ADCs, obviously, that you wanted, they wanted to play with, like, Hillsang, Mickey X, Kaiser, you know, some of the best supports in EU history. So they're trying to grab like a top tier ADC, but a top tier ADC is not going to want to play with this guy. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm not saying he's toxic or whatever, right? But you're trying to, you know, build a championship winning roster for Fnatic's, you know, standards, right? But the thing here is they already committed to a support with very little sample size of games and trying to get like championship caliber, like world caliber ADCs for like, you know, the LEC standards, right? It's just, that's not going to happen. You know, that was already big red flag. Then they committed to a mid-jungle duo that they struggled with all year long. Another red flag. Then you commit to a top laner who hasn't carried a game since 2021. Another red flag. Then they bring back Reckless, who was on Carmine Corp. He had that whole situation with G2 where he signed that really bad contract that he really shouldn't have signed anyway, but whatever, right? Then they bring back Reckless. Reckless, a guy who, you know, Reckless is a player where if the team fits whatever fucking personality he's having of that day, then it can maybe work, right? But you're bringing back Reckless, a guy that wasn't even your first choice. Reckless wasn't their first choice because they know he's, like, not as good as these other guys, actually. You know, well, Reckless is probably better than Karzi, in theory, right? But it's not gonna work out, right? Then, all that happens, right? Then, you also have another situation that ends up happening with this mid-jungle duo. Now, I'll tackle this mid-jungle duo right now. There's really not much for Razork to do. I think Razork played a bit better in 2022 as the year went by. I think it was clutch for them, like, in the playoffs, actually. But I still don't think he's, like, that good. I remember him being on Misfits and playing very, very well. This is just not the team for him to really showcase his skills. I don't think he's as bad as everyone makes him out to be. This is just not the team for him. Maybe this will be the roster, a combination of players to make it happen, right? Then you also have Humanoid, who's not been in his top form since 2021. That Humanoid who used to play Rise and split push and carry games and have these monster performances, top 4 mid, yeah, that's not happened in literally an entire year. He's like, do you write someone like Humanoid off? And I would personally say yes, he's not good anymore. It's not been that year. He's not been that player for a long time, right? And it's these things people go, it's like, but he's a proven player. He's won this. Yes, all that stuff is, you know, factual in a certain context, right? But you need to live in the present moment. The present moment is he's not been that good of a player for a while at this point, right? And if Fnatic don't obviously go to a finals with this guy, maybe this split, or potentially go to MSI, I don't see a world where they keep this guy. I don't know why they're so invested in Humanoid. Humanoid could literally get on stage, lock in Yorick mid, get ganked level 3, repeatedly not respect his enemy laner, and then just throw a game. This man's been atrocious in lane. Like, we're talking, like, really bad here. He, like, the guy even admitted he doesn't really care too much about the regular season. What's the difference this time? What's the difference this time? Nothing. Nothing's changed at all. He's still gonna run it down for you. That's my problem, is I don't know why they keep opting into these two. This mid-jungle duo could go 0-6 and people would still make excuses for them because they're so fucking brain dead. It's crazy how people think these days. These two could literally, I repeat, run it down in the game, and Fnatic still won't kick them because they're so fucking stupid. It just won't click in their brains. These two just don't work. This combination of players just doesn't work. So, I'm gonna go to Reckless, actually. Okay, so Reckless did not perform very well either. He actually performed even worse than what people even thought he was gonna perform like. People say, but he played like this, and he played like that, and his KDA, and blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up, man. First of all, he's playing like that, so he doesn't look like he's inting. Second of all, it is a... What's the best way of explaining this to new people? Okay, so... This is for anyone who's new, right? You will understand what I'm saying. Well, I'll get you to understand what I'm saying. Like veteran players who've been playing for a long time and people who watch the game and they'll understand this concept, okay? So, just because someone is not dying in a game, and just because someone is CSing very well, doesn't mean they're actually having a good game, okay? We've seen plenty of ADCs in Europe, around the world, do exactly that and still carry games and are still very effective in games, right? Then you look at Reckless, a person who, plays for his he literally plays for his KDA. Like, that's literally what he does. Second of all, that's just kind of what Reckless is. He'll look good for himself, but if everyone else looks bad, it doesn't matter, actually. That's it. That's literally it. There are people who said, oh, well, he can't do anything, and then this, and this. Yes. The team fighting Fnatic had last split was very, 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 very bad. So, yeah, in an ideal world, an ADC cannot look good in that aspect. But I'm talking about just in lane. In lane, with Rux, he was atrocious. Laned like shit. CS like shit. Fucking 2v2 like shit. Played his team fights pretty bad. I'm sorry. Like, he just isn't good right now, right? And it's this thing of people keep doing these excuses where it's like, but he didn't go 0 and 10. He CS'd okay. What does that even mean? What does that even mean at the end of the day? He's not doing anything. He's just sitting there doing nothing, essentially, right? He's not progressing the game, but he's also not making a difference either. It's like, no, fuck that, right? So... the Reckless and Rux bot lane was never going to work, right? You could even see it, from their videos. It wasn't going to work out, obviously. You could tell from their Legends and Action videos, this roster wasn't going to work out. It was a miracle they even won the games that they did. They only won the games that they did because other teams threw into them. They weren't actually going to win those games. That Koi game they played, where Koi abysmally threw when Malrung was on Sejuani, that's a throw. That was a throw from Koi's point of view. They should have never won that game. Koi just threw that game. The Excel game, well, Excel and Fnatic were about the same similar skill set throughout the split, so that's pretty much just whatever. But yeah, Excel had a lead, threw it, and that's... So 2 of Fnatic's games were only won because another team threw. And usually people say that because they're kind of salty, but no, if you actually have watched the games, Fnatic only won games on the scoreboard when other teams threw into them. That's it. Otherwise, they got either blown the fuck out. Sometimes they had early game leads. They threw them, right? Constantly, And to wrap it up on the LEC 2023 Winter Split roster for Fnatic, there's so much problems that the roster had. I mean, first of all, they never really let Rux actually play anything sufficient enough. They kind of just perma-put him on Yuumi, even though he definitely could have played other champions to maybe... give the team a little bit more leeway in draft. Humanoid running it down constantly. Reckless just being invisible, just playing for his KDA. Razor trying to make stuff happen, but also would make it plays. Wonder attempting to be stable, but running it every single game. That was my biggest issue. Is the fact that people kept defending Wonder, given the fact that this guy still ran it down in games. Play Gragas, have abysmal Gragas cast. And it's this thing that people kept saying, well, top lane's really weak right now. Top lane's really weak right now. Yeah, top lane is weak right now. But when I watch other regions, players who obviously are in the top lane make a big difference in some of these games, right? Top lane is weak, but it all depends on what you're doing top lane, right? So... I've seen players throughout LPL and the LCK, not the LCS because that region sucks, but a top laner who will play a tank, right, and play it like a carry. They're still playing to win and generating their own resources. The LEC has just kind of opted into this thing of like, oh, okay, top lane's weak, you just play weak side, and then that's just that. It's like, no, you have... That's just such a bad way of looking at things, right? Photon didn't do that. Photon was carrying games. Just depends on where you want to carry from, So now Fnatic So now Fnatic is going with this new roster, right? Oscar, and I think they said it's a guy that either Dardo picked out or whatever, like challenger top laner, played in the LFLs. Is he supposed to be better than like Wonder? I don't really know. It's like that's a coin toss right there. Probably not. You know, maybe, I don't know. He might have better synergy with Razork, because it looked like, not even outside of the Razork and Humanoid synergy, it looked like Wonder and Razork didn't have good synergy at all, you know? Like, in the game. Outside the game, from the videos, looked like they were pretty cool, right? And then you have Advian. If you guys remember Advian used to play on Excel, right? Advian got kicked for Mickey X last year, and then now he got his chance back into the LEC on Fnatic. Unless Advian is gonna take control of the bot lane and actually, you know, try to make things happen, I don't see a world where this bot lane is really going to work out, right? You can change the coaching staff all you want. You can do literally whatever you want. The issue here is, where do I see Fnatic at the end of the LEC 2023 spring split? I don't know. I really couldn't answer you. They need to actually get into top 8 first. Get into top 8. Then kind of worry about BO3s and BO5s. But if I'm being realistic here, they'll probably make playoffs this time around to get into the BO3s, but I don't see this team doing very well in BO3s, right? I just see them getting just knocked out in BO3s just very fast, honestly. Like, they're gonna have to teach their rookie top laner the ropes of the LEC. Like, what is he supposed to be doing? Is he supposed to be weak side? Do you need this guy to play carries more? Like, what is he for? Is Humanoid going to take the regular season seriously and actually stop running it? Is Razor going to have very, very suspect, sloppy games? Kind of, you know, is Razor going to be a lot more stable? I don't know about that. Is Reckless going to not be a KDA player where he just plays under his tower, attempting to look good while just basically just doing nothing the whole time? Is Advian gonna be that guy to really take control of the team and, you know, like, pair up with his jungler to make, you know, the mid-jungle, the jungle support synergy a lot better? I really, really highly doubt it. You know, Fnatic failed last split because they had no win conditions they can play through. Nothing. They essentially had nothing. And what does this roster have? Fuck if I know. I hope you know too, because I don't. Cause you probably know as much as I do. Nothing. So, yeah, that is essentially it. I thought it'd be the best time to make this video when, you know, Fnatic announced their new roster for spring. Do I have any hopes for this new roster? Like I said before, I really don't, honestly. Well, Rux tweeted this. I don't feel like adding more drama to what already is a chaotic situation, but to give you guys an update of my life, I'll be helping the academy team finish the split and then see what happens. Yeah, the man got thrown into the LEC off very, very, very small sample sets of games from Worlds 2022's play-in stage, right? With a different ADC, better ADC, and looked better, but then played with Reckless and looked awful, right? And a lot of what really happened with Fnatic was very, very dictated, not just through draft, but just how they executed the draft too. Taking fights when they really shouldn't be. Remember that G2 game where they took that fight in the bot lane against Hansamo's Draven and they got completely just destroyed? Yeah, like, these guys know better than that, you know? Just, I mean, Reckless even said their scrims were going bad, so it's like, come on. This roster, I don't know what's going to end up happening. A lot of people said it's the coaching staff and not coaching staff, it's the higher up management, like Dardo and people like that. Probably is. You know, probably is Sam Matthews and Dardo just messing up Fnatic, because there's more drama to Fnatic than what I'm going to be able to say right now. But yeah, that is essentially it. You know, will Fnatic not be filled with drama? No, because Org's always filled with it. You know, even when it looks like they have everything together, no, it really only, it's always been filled with drama, actually. A lot of players going, yeah, this Org is definitely ran pretty bad, actually. But yeah. I will see you guys later. Like, comment, and subscribe. Most of all, enjoy. I am MSK, and this is Esports Content Entertainment, your one place for esports content. All right, see you guys later. Deuces. Peace.